Hey, what's up you guys, it's Caboose bringing you another Mortal Kombat 11 video, and today what I got for you guys here is something a little different. Today we're going to be going over my wish list for the characters that I want to see in a potential Kombat Pack 2. Now before we get into everything, I wanted to ask you guys, of course, if you could leave a like rating on the video as it shows your support, and I would really appreciate it, so if you could leave a like, that would be awesome. And with that said, well, let's get into this. So I know Kombat Pack 1 is technically not even done, and I know that there isn't even an official confirmation of a Kombat Pack 2. However, I think that the chances of us getting additional DLC characters are pretty high, so I just wanted to go over the characters that I want to see the most. Take in mind that these are characters that I would like to see in the game myself personally. These are my own opinions. If you have your own wish list, you can leave them in the comment section below. And I also want to make sure you guys know that these are characters I don't think will be in the game just because I'm wishing for them. They're just characters that I would like to see. So without further ado, let's get into my list. At number 1 is a bit of a cheat, but bear with me, okay? Stick with me on this one. I want not just Cyrax, not just Sector, I want them together in this game, but I don't want them taking up 2 slots because I have 5 other picks on my list here. I just want somehow for NetherRealm to capture the same magic that they did with Triborg in MKX, but I know obviously it's just not going to be as easy to incorporate Smoke and Cyber Sub-Zero, although honestly I would love to pretty much just see Triborg again. I just know that won't be easy. So maybe the best workaround, if I were to give a suggestion myself, although I don't work in game development and this probably isn't very easy, would be to just work through the obviously gear system to create your version of Sector or Cyrax, and then through the custom abilities you can make it so that an ability for Cyrax can't be used in tandem with an ability for Sector. So for instance, you can't have the chest bomb that Cyrax has as well as the missile that Sector has. Whether that's through them being used with the same input or just not being able to be combined together just through the custom ability system not allowing you to do that, I don't really know. But either way, just as a general note, even if they are going to be 2 characters and take up 2 slots, get these guys in the game. They look the best they ever have in Mortal Kombat 11. They're in the story mode and actually play a large role, at least Sector does, and they're not actually playable. That's ridiculous to me. You know, when I was thinking of this list and I thought of Cyrax and Sector as characters that I wanted to be in the game, I was doing a little bit of research because I realized that there were mods in MK11 that allowed you to play as these characters because they are NPCs in the story mode. And when I looked through those mods, although I'm not going to show any on screen just because I might get in trouble for that, I noticed that these are pretty well developed characters. They have a full moveset, although it's their copied moveset from MKX with Triborg. That said though, some of the same moves that they had in MKX act different in MK11. For instance, you have the trap that Cyrax sends out. In MKX, wherever your character was positioned on screen when that trap goes out is where they would be. So if they're in midair, they will stay in midair when they get caught by the trap. However, in MK11, the trap puts you in restand and becomes a really good tool to create some reset scenarios for the character. That, and I've also seen some videos where people are doing all fatalities on these characters, and I noticed one fatality in particular for Cyrax. It's Johnny Cage's uppercut fatality. When he throws the head at the screen, you actually see the lights fade out on Cyrax's helmet, so clearly there was some intention to have these characters be playable characters in this game at one point, and it's really disappointing to me that they just weren't. I know I'm ranting a lot about these 2 characters, but honestly, I think they are my 2 most requested characters, the ones that I want the most out of anyone on this list. So please, NetherRealm gods, if you're listening to me, put Cyrax and Sector in the game. But okay, finally, moving on to number 2. My second pick for characters that I want to see in Kombat Pack 2 is Fujin. Now, I really want to see this character, and I think a lot of other people want to see this character. This, I feel, will probably be the one character that almost everyone unanimously agrees on in terms of an old MK character we want to see returned in MK11. He was first introduced, I believe, as a boss in Sub-Zero Mythologies, which is a very interesting game. If you don't know about it, definitely go down that rabbit hole when you have the time on YouTube and learn about Sub-Zero Mythologies. And then I believe he was actually a playable character for the first time in Mortal Kombat 4. But since the 3D era, he hasn't been a playable character. We saw him show up in MKX in the cutscenes, but he actually wasn't an NPC character the same way characters like Rain were or Baraka, where you could actually mod them into the game, similar to Cyrax and Sector before in MK11, so nobody really knew what his moveset could have been like. Nobody really knew what this character's potential could be, and I hope we can see what the potential is in MK11, because the moveset for this character could be really cool. He is the Wind God after all. Alright, so next up on my list for the Kombat Pack 2 characters that I want to see is Sarina. This is actually another character that isn't necessarily highly requested, but is a character that has definitely been brought to the spotlight since MKX, and a character that I think a lot of people want to see in MK11. This is another character like Fujin who showed up in Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, and then I believe she was playable in like the Game Boy Advance version of like Mortal Kombat Tournament, something like that, and then she was also playable in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. However, we haven't seen her playable since, and she did also show up in the MKX story. She has a very similar timeline of appearances to Fujin. Either way, she's got these commas, these really cool weapons that she uses, as well as I believe she has like a projectile that's kind of similar to Quan Chi's, so there could be some room to play around with this character if they included her in MK11. There could be some room to create some new stuff for the character if they were to add her in MK11, and I think that's a cool opportunity for NetherRealm to take advantage of. She's also actually kind of in MK11 already. She shows up in Cabal's tower ending, so I mean, she's in the game in spirit. It would be cool to see her actually be a playable character. Alright, now moving on to the next character on my list, this is gonna be Havoc, a character coming from the 3D era, and a really cool looking character that I think deserves a spot in MK11. I would love to see some updated visuals and updated design for Havoc in MK11. Although he does appear in MK11 through some character endings, and there was also a whole Combat League season dedicated to the character with the Chaos Realm and everything, I think we just need to see him as a 3D model, an actual character in the game. He may not have the most spectacular set of abilities or powers, however, I think he does have a funky, crazy looking moveset from the previous games. You know, he has this ability to contort his body in really weird ways and like break his legs essentially to throw low projectiles and stuff, so it's weird, but I think it could work in MK11, honestly, and I think this is a character, especially because of the design of him and how badass he looks, would fit really well in MK11. I just love the backstory of the character, you know, this pure agent of chaos who wasn't necessarily on the side of good or bad before, but kind of leaning more towards the side of bad as things have progressed within the storyline of Mortal Kombat, which I mean makes sense if you look at the dude. And I also love that in Joker's latter ending, they essentially become best friends, Havoc and Joker, because Havoc is, I guess you could say, the Joker of Mortal Kombat. But alright, that does it with the Mortal Kombat characters that I want to see in this game as part of a potential Kombat Pack 2, and they are characters that I really want to see. But we all know that no NetherRealm fighter, especially since MK9, is without a couple of guest characters. So these last two picks are guest characters that I think would fit perfectly in Mortal Kombat 11, especially considering now since they've pretty much chosen every horror icon you can think of as a guest character, they're finally starting to step out of that and picking some more creative guest characters that could fit well within the MK universe, obviously with Terminator, and then of course with the highly requested upcoming Spawn. And the first of the two guest characters I would like to see in MK11, Doomguy. I think this would be amazing. A character crossing over from one game into MK11, similar to what we got with Kratos from God of War in MK9. The only difference is, at least this time, it won't be a character exclusive to one platform, although that was really cool. I mean, I have to admit, Kratos being a character that was playable in MK9 is so awesome, and I would love to see NetherRealm kind of repeat history and transfer over Doomguy into this game, because I mean, come on, he fits so well. He's got this crazy assortment of weapons, the double barrel shotgun, the chainsaw, you know, the BFG, everything could work so well as part of his moveset in MK11. There are a couple of things that are a bit of a hindrance though to Doomguy being a potential DLC character. Like for instance, you know, he doesn't talk very much, so the intro dialogue could be a bit of a problem, although Jason didn't talk at all in MKX as well, so I feel like they could just make that work. That wouldn't be too big of an issue. And then also another problem would be the gear system. You know, Doomguy has looked relatively the same through all the games. However, I think there have been a couple of minor differences in there, and there potentially is enough to get a full round of gear and skins for the character. If you want, you don't change anything with the armor through the gear, just have the different guns he's going to use be changed through the gear. So while I do acknowledge that there could be some issues with including the character in MK11 regarding the gear system and the intro dialogue, I think we can go without a full set of gear and a full set of skins if it means we get an awesome crossover between Doom and MK. And now the last character that I would like to be in a potential Kombat Pack 2, my most requested guest character besides of course Spawn. This is someone I have been preaching to be a DLC character in the game since January of last year, before MK11 even came out. John Wick. Get this guy in the game as portrayed by Keanu Reeves. I don't care what his schedule is. I don't care what conflicts there could be with Cyberpunk. Just get Keanu in the game as John Wick. I'm telling you, it would be the best thing ever. Now, similar to Doom Guy, he could have a bit of an issue with the gear system, although I think there are a couple of more liberties you could take with John Wick as opposed to Doom Guy. You know, different suits, some more battle damage suits, you know, some scarring on the face and stuff. With the gear system, it could be just some of the different weapons he uses, and in my opinion, I think it would be really cool if you had the Pitbull included in the moveset, and maybe the dog collar on the Pitbull was a part of the gear system. I think that would be really fun, but overall, it would be really great to see John Wick in this game. I think he is a perfect fit for MK. I mean, look at the movies. Look at the insanity that ensues, especially in John Wick 2 and 3, that involves that character and the different crazy things that he does and all the creative ideas he has, especially with the freaking pencil to take down all the people coming after him. After Spawn comes out, which is 2 weeks from now, which is insane to be thinking about, but after Spawn comes out, this is going to be the one character for MK that I will be lobbying for the most. This is going to be my next Spawn, the next character that I will be talking about forever until he's included, because he just works so well. All the different weapons he can be using, having a pencil part of the moveset would be awesome. Using the dog in some way as part of the moveset I think would be great as well. There is so much potential for John Wick and MK. It needs to happen, okay? It needs to happen. But that's going to round out my 6 characters that I want to see in Mortal Kombat 11. To go through the list once again, at number 1, I got a bit of a cheat with Cyrax and Sector being 1. Then I got Fujin at 2, Sarina at 3, Havoc at 4, and then Doom Guy and John Wick being my 2 guest characters that I want to see as part of a potential Kombat Pack 2. But that's it. Now I want to kick it to you guys. Let me know what your list is in the comment section below. What 6 characters do you want to see be DLC in Mortal Kombat 11? And with all that said, if you enjoyed the video, if you could leave a like rating on it, it shows your support, and I would really appreciate it. I'm Caboose, and you can click on the screen to make your way to one of the other videos on the channel, or you can click my logo to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.